Congress. So there's a direct action from Congress and executive office to change this issue. Most people think that this is brand new. People have been being deported before 1996, but in 1996, the Immigration Act that was enacted then took away judges' ability, the immigration judge ability to make judgment on the case and use discretion. Since then, not too many people really fought this issue as far for with veterans. Originally, Mr. Lehman, Senator Ted Kennedy, John Conyers, all put in bills that to try to change the effects of what the Immigration Act of 1996 did. But them being immigration bills, they didn't really catch on. It wasn't until really the discovery of Hector Barajas and we began to understand or see deported veterans that Congress began to have targeted legislation towards there. And there have been several congressional members that have introduced legislation, like Ruben Gallegos, Mr. Grajava, you have Mr. Takano. But one of my favorites and a true patriot and a true fighter for the deported veterans, Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Hello, everyone. I am Senator Tammy Duckworth. I wish I could be there with you today, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to join you virtually at this critically important time for our immigrant veterans and their families. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for what you're doing to meet this moment and speak out in defense of your neighbors, loved ones, and veterans who are being terrorized by ICE. I'd also like to thank Tanisha Hartwell-Paris and Melissa Chaudhry for having the courage to share their powerful stories at this event. Ever since the Revolutionary War, immigrants have enlisted in our armed forces and fought shoulder to shoulder with natural-born citizens and defend this nation and its ideals. But right now, in Trump's America, we're watching too many men and women who are willing to wear a uniform being targeted, detained, and even deported by the same nation that they sacrificed so dearly to defend. That's not making America great again. It's not making us safer. And it's definitely not encouraging the next generation to enlist in the greatest military on the face of the earth. Despite what Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth might think, diversity makes our military stronger and more lethal. Diversity makes us smarter. It widens our perspective, and it makes us sharper as it shatters our assumptions. It makes us stronger as it deepens our bonds, leading us to treat as equals those who look or speak differently than we do. Instead of targeting immigrant veterans, we should be doing everything we can to repay the debt we owe them for volunteering to serve and sacrificing for us in the uniform of our great nation. So I am proud to commemorate Veterans Day this year, in part by reintroducing my legislation that would make it easier for these service members and veterans to become citizens, enable them to live with their families, and ensure that they can access life-saving VA care that they have earned. After all, they've sacrificed. My Veterans Visa Protection Act, the HOPE Act, and the IVETS Act are common sense bills that we can pass to support these folks who are Americans in every way but on a piece of paper. This isn't just a matter of doing right by those who've worn the uniform. It's also a matter of national strength and national security, too. Because would-be recruits are sure to think twice about volunteering to serve if they believe that our government will desert them after they get home from war. My legislation would prohibit the deportation of immigrant veterans who are not violent offenders, provide them with a pathway to citizenship through their military service, and help to ensure those who have been deported already can access the VA healthcare services that they are already entitled to. Like each and every Veterans Day, I will be spending the day celebrating all of our brave veterans, including those who have been exiled and deported, those who are with us, and those who have passed away. We are a nation of immigrants and a union that, yes, at times has been anything but united. And yes, we've had moments when bigotry has prevailed, when we've treated our neighbors as less than because of their race or their religion. But time after time, we've refused to give in to that darkness. We've come back stronger at each and every time. There will always be people who want to build walls, but the miracle of America is that when it looks like the worst instincts are set to prevail, we come together and resist. Black, white, Asian, Latino, immigrant, natural born citizens, you name it. We march, we speak out, we demand justice, fairness, equality, because we know that this country can only live up to its true potential, can only be that more perfect union that our founders dreamed of when its states are united and its people undivided. Thank you so much for letting me join you today. At every turn, I'm with you, speaking out for all of us. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so looking to pull up a sheet, I was going to speak about some of the bills that she mentioned, and some of the bills that are out there. So because there's legislation that is out there that has been tried to pass in the past couple years. The closest one that almost passed in 2023, was the Veteran Service Recognition Act that was introduced by Mr. Mark Tacoma of California. What that bill does was provide a pathway to establish a pathway for immigrant members of the military to get their citizenship. Currently, the way that it is set up, it is arbitrarily up to each individual department of how they want to exercise the right to do that, and that's what helps the situation have holes in it, and people wind up falling through. So. One of the bills that we, as our coalition, supports is the Veteran Service Recognition Act. Now, I'm going to share with you something that I don't know if you knew, but we didn't know in the beginning, and that's one of the reasons why we put together the toolkit. Was that we don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel. We don't want you to have to go out and try to relearn everything that we wound up learning in the process. For a few years while I was doing this, I thought that when you stood for a bill, you stood for just that bill, and you couldn't stand for one of the others. And unfortunately, that stopped us from being able to come together, because even though those other bills were different, they were headed towards the same direction. So I say that in understanding that whoever you go to look at and partner with, just because they don't do it your way, doesn't mean they're not headed in the same direction as you, and you can't find a way to work with them. All right, so please go ahead and do that. Besides the three bills that she spoke about, and the Veteran Service Recognition Act, that's the VSRA, there was the one I mentioned, you heard me say Ruben Gallegos. Ruben Gallegos is now a senator in Arizona. And he, as a representative, he introduced the Repatriate Our Patriots Act. It's basically theoretically the same thing as a Veteran Service Recognition Act, except it requires you to have an honorable discharge. The Veteran Service Recognition Act requires you to have honorable service. And that was the difference for me, because some people don't understand that people that got bad paper aren't necessarily bad people.